to make a toe corrector, and also like talk about what a toe corrector is, why you would use it, all the different multi things. I'll even show you how to use it. So first of all, we go live on Sundays at 9 a.m. Pacific to answer your questions. This is August, and usually he wants to be in front of the camera, but today he's in protest. So, I'm working on the sixth and final deck in the flashcard series, and it's called Accessories. And part of this deck is actually helping you make as many of these accessories as you could. And that's just because I want this deck to be as accessible as possible. And also the accessories are really where a lot of the homework is. And Pilates doesn't have to be done in a studio. You can actually do Pilates at home in 5-minute increments and in different types of things. So a toe corrector is essentially got a spring, right? And then these little leather straps, right? So you see that, right? So, and then you use it and the spring opens and it will help strengthen your feet, really, especially the muscle feet, but also connects your feet to your seat. And you'll see that in a couple of the exercises. But how do you make this at home? I mean, this little doodad, like where do you even buy these things, right? So my teacher, 𝐤𝐸 said his favorite toe corrector was a broccoli band. So these rubber bands, if you look at your broccoli, and I think even asparagus. You want some? Yeah. There's this rubber band on the broccoli. Now, new rubber band broccoli apparently is printed with a tag. This is new, so I'm hoping that like if you go to a farmer's market and you buy something a little bit more organic, I don't really know if you should have access to all this broccoli. These new ones have the tag on, but I'm just going to cut that tag off. Yeah. What do you want to do with that? Okay. We'll watch that later. So there's a rubber band on this, and it's got a tag, so I would just cut that tag part off. It's very fancy, but hopefully, and this will still work, although hopefully you can still find these guys. See how thick that is? This is still pretty solid, so I think you could use this. Some people will just use one. I like to take two, right? I'm going to take this one and this one. I like to take two and then do a little loop-de-loop. Did you ever make a chain with rubber bands before? Probably not. You're not a child of a postman, but I was. And you know that at the post office, at all the different counters, they have like bags of rubber bands. And so you can make a loop around this one to this one. Here we go. Boom. And you get this little bow, like a little butterfly. Okay. Has two loops. So I make a ton of these all the time. So save these because you never know. You might want to use them. Obviously, these are not going to have the same lasting policy. Do you want a toe corrector as this guy? But again, 𝐤𝐸 said his favorite toe corrector was just a broccoli rubber band. And I love that. I love how we can make things simple. I know, you're right here. So let's talk about why you would use this and let's talk about how to use it. So why you would use a toe corrector. Again, if you have weaker muscles in your feet and you're worried about bunions, I have like a small bunion. It doesn't cause pain. Do a lot of toe corrector to help prevent it from getting worse. Also helps strengthen the muscles around the arch of the foot. It's really great for that. And again, practicing point and flexing, circling of the ankles while strengthening the feet. So I'm going to show you how to use the toe corrector, and we're going to use the rubber bands as well so you can see how beneficial this is. And August is about to get booted from the show. Okay, sir, you must go. You must go. So he's not an actor. No union. No, you're not getting any jobs, sir. Go off. Thank you. Okay. So I'm going to take all this. You can do this sitting with your feet on the floor if sitting straight up doesn't work for you. So you would take the rubber band. The higher up towards the tip of your toe you go, the more difficult it is. If you go closer to the base, the easier it is. Now, you can see how like my toes want to be separate of my big toe. So you're trying to keep your toes aligned. You don't want like toes going rogue, okay? And then what you can do is just pull the toes apart and pull the toes apart. Pull the toes apart. You want this to be harder? add a second set of rubber bands, right? So, yeah, and then we're just gonna pull apart. Then we can draw circles with the feet. So you're really trying to work those toes around, and you're trying to make the toes like work like independent of each other, okay? And you can point and flex. So I can point this foot and flex this one back, and then I can point this foot and flex this one back. And what is so cool is I can feel the arch of my foot working to point, and I can feel the muscles in the front of my shin pull my foot back to flex. All right, so you can do that. You could also just move one leg out. Move the whole leg out. And you'll feel this in your outer hip. I can move the other leg out, right? And so this is how you can make a toe corrector. And again, you can make it more difficult by putting two together and wearing two at the same time. So these are really simple, and you already probably have them at home. You've probably been saving, if you're like Brad, you've been saving rubber bands for years, and they last a long time. So the toe corrector, you can see how this is the same thing. I can pull it apart. Like literally, it's just perfectly the same thing. This is just $150, and that is free. You could probably take it from the store. I'm not saying do that, but you know. And then circle around. So you're really working those feet. I can even turn my feet out and pull out more, an external rotation. I can point. I can flex. I can point. I can flex. I can even take it off, and I can actually just work the one foot. So if you have something going on. There's a bunch of different brands who do toe correctors, by the way. Balance Body does this one. There's several others. So if you're like, Lesley, I'm allergic to whatever this is, then obviously then buying one would be great. You can use our discount. I also love, Brad's gonna toss it to me. Thank you. This is Feetness. We have two sizes. So there's a regular and then there's a large. This one's nice because it has the toe corrector in it. Okay, but also you can put your feet in it. And so you can actually work the whole foot to the seat. I really like to do that as well when I do my toe corrector. So it's called Feetness, and we'll make sure that our link is in the show notes for you to use it. Lots of different fun ways to use this one because you have the different options with the different loops. And if you have a bigger ball of the foot, then obviously you want the bigger size, okay? Well, this isn't what Joseph Pilates created. The toe corrector absolutely is, and so why not just add the whole foot to it? I think it's a great idea. But there's at least, let's see, you've got your point flex, you've got your circles. I think there's about 6 to 8 exercises you could do with this toe corrector. And it's really helpful for those who struggle with the roll up. Oftentimes because your outer hips are not engaged, and it's because your feet are not connected to your seat. When I see a lot of people flex, they're actually hyperextending their knees. So their heels are not touching the earth, or their feet are kind of dead and not being connected to their body. And so I really, really love people to use the toe corrector to feel how their feet can connect to their seat, even use the toe corrector in a roll up or in a neck pull, and feel how connecting their feet to their seat can actually aid in them having more access to exercises. So I know everybody wants to have a reformer in their home, but I hope as you've seen the last 3 weeks of live, how there's that's 3 different things you could have at your home that do not take up a lot of space. I mean, my goodness, in your suitcases would take no space up. And you could be doing this, guess what, on a plane. I know everyone's gonna be like, oh my God, she takes her shoes off on a plane. I'm not like, be mindful. But you could do it at your hotel, right? You can actually sit in a chair and you can do the exact same things I showed you seated in a chair, especially if sitting with your legs stretched out is really hard on your back. If you have questions about this, feel free in the comments below. We do have some free tutorials with the toe corrector already up on this channel. And we are going to be recording more and adding them to our accessories deck. Thank you so much for watching. I really have enjoyed this. Woo! Thank you so much for making a toe corrector with me. I can't even wait to see how you use yours. In fact, when you make it, I want to see which rubber bands you use. Did you end up with a weird tagged one, or did you get to find these old school ones? I feel old. I feel like they don't make them like they used to. But hopefully at your farmer's market they do. And stay tuned. We'll be back live with more answering your questions. We've had some great questions come up that we'll be back to. And I'm still working on making some of the other accessories to make this deck that's coming up more accessible to you. Our goal is to make more than 50% of it things you can make at home so that you can have Pilates accessories at your home. Thank you so much and have an amazing day.